All right, welcome back to Reseller Unscripted. And as always, if you find our videos helpful, hit the like button, subscribe. We also have memberships. If you haven't checked those out, it gets you into our exclusive Discord. We've got a really exciting guest today, a legend in our presence. And I'm not talking about Ari.
Not me.
We're talking about Ryan from Circle City. So let's have him introduce himself and what he does.
What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan with Circle City OC. We've got a few channels: Circle City OC, the Edit OC, the Beauty Shop OC, and then my personal channel, The Notorious Boss.
Love that.
The Notorious Boss. Literally, it's what it is the Notorious Boss.
And Ryan does look like a boss.
He is a
means
boss.
Business. That's what I'm saying. So take us back to the beginning days. Was Whatnot the start? How long you been doing this thing? Where did you start? How did you stumble on Whatnot? Give us the history.
I started reselling about 6 years ago now from home. I was still working a full-time job. Bought my first pallet, $825. Started selling general merchandise from home while still working my full-time job. The funny story about it is I never met people face to face. I would put the item on my doorstep. My office for my job actually overlooked my front door. And I would tell them to put the cash into the doormat or Zelle me or Venmo me. And I got to where I was doing about 5 pallets a week after a couple months. And I was doing it 100% on my own. My girlfriend, who is now my wife, at the time said that she would help me inventory and all that. She did it once. And then after that, I was solo. And then I just got to where I couldn't keep up with it. It was just growing, just doing everything while still working 40 hours a week. And then I went to my brother, aka my best friend. We played high school football together. We've known each other since the early '90s. Just dated myself, and yeah, we opened up a warehouse. We had absolutely zero clue. We understood liquidation a little bit. We bought a truckload of Home Depot pallets and planned on having like a massive sale on a Saturday morning. And we had no clue what we were doing. Nobody showed up. We're like, oh, this is cool. And I mean, I skipped over. We were like in a 1,300 square foot warehouse that we subleased. We didn't even know how to drive a forklift. We were renting our landlord's forklift. Yeah, it took us a couple weeks to finally start selling some pallets. And then from there, the business kind of took off. And then we turned it into a little mini discount store, selling some Amazon stuff. And then we turned it into a bin store. We were the second bin store on the West Coast. Had a bin store. We're running Amazon garbage through there. And from there, we signed a Target contract when we were still in 1,800 square feet. We had zero clue what we were getting ourselves into with a Target contract. It was at the end of COVID. There was a plethora of overstock inventory. And in one day, we got seven semis of Target delivered to our
Oh
door.
my gosh.
And we were in under 2,000 square feet. So we looked like deers in the headlights. We were like, what do we do with this? And then from there, we just turned into a giant discount store. So we grew from there. We went to 3,500 square feet. From
Wow.
3,500 square feet,
Wow.
1 month later, after signing a lease for 3,500, we went to just under 10,000. It was like 8,900 or something. And we just moved from there to here. And with where do we discover Whatnot? We discovered Whatnot as the cost of goods started rising with the liquidation world and customers not really wanting to adapt to price changes. We were actually at ASD and we saw Chris Lynn's YouTube video about Whatnot. And we were like, well, this guy could do this. We could do this. We were sitting on probably like 40,000 units of Sam's Club clothing. Cause at that time we had not only Target contracts, but we had contracts with 10 different Sam's Club stores to get all their liquidation. And we're like, what do we do with this Whatnot thing? And we had one of our girls running our e-commerce. She was like, oh, I'll set up a Whatnot. And she started streaming. And then before I knew it, I was like, oh, we did like $300 in our first show. And I was like, well, if we could do this 300 like 5 times a day, then this would be pretty cool. And then before we knew it, it just grew.
That's amazing.
It really has grown though, Ryan. Like just in like 2 years, like on Whatnot, dude, like from CircleCityOC to just growing into like 6 different channels is like insane. Like me and Dusty always talk about you. And like, I'm like, dude, like, how do we do that? You know, so it's like it's really cool to see you guys scale from that old warehouse to this new warehouse to the Notorious Boss, which is such a fun channel to watch. You know, like you should be really proud of yourself, honestly. Because I just, you know, I remember when me and you would used to talk about, you know, early days of Whatnot, and we would be like trading ideas back and forth. Like, and now we look at it now, January 14th, like 2026, like, dude, like you deserve a pat on your back. Like I give myself a pat on the back too sometimes, but like you really did it. So like congratulations.
Yeah,
Appreciate that. Thank you.
that's pretty amazing. The comment about leaving cash or sell really brings me back because when Laura and I first started, we kind of did the same thing. It was in COVID, and we would buy pallets and we would do like garage sales with them, and then we'd leave stuff out on our front porch for pickups. And Laura made this tiny little mailbox,
Oh my gosh.
and on it just said "Leave cash here," and it was a total honor system of like. In all the years of doing that, we never had a person come and just like take their item and not pay for it. So
Nope.
that was pretty amazing. Pallet sales. I didn't realize that you kind of got into this through being a liquidator. Do you still do
Yeah.
that?
No, I think it would. I want to get back into it a little bit more. I know there's a lot of opportunities that we miss with a lot of our local following on our social media that I think would just be another revenue stream for us.
Yeah, we actually, so we've got the Discord. If somebody on here wants to know about the Discord, there's membership levels that'll let you know about it. It's exclusive Discord. We talk about a lot of different stuff. This is part of it. Somebody actually was just asking about that. How do you get into that world? If let's say you have a big warehouse and you want to start selling some pallets and keeping some of it for whatnot, how did you start in negotiating those contracts? What advice would you give to somebody just starting that?
Start small. We started with literally, I was selling a brand of stuff called Costway. I would go back to it any day. Costway is bread and butter. The cost of pallets are amazing to get started with. Um, the quality of goods is pretty clean for the most part. I mean, that's how we started, right? It was with those pallets. And then we went into, I think it took us about maybe 4 or 5 truckloads worth of Home Depot before we established how to buy Home Depot direct. Um, but even then, a lot of the times using brokers to buy it was a lot more efficient and a lot more effective to pay the extra 500 to $1,000 those brokers charge to get something that you didn't have to wait for or you knew what was going on with it. So I guess suggestions and to get into it is start small, buy, a pallet. Don't be afraid to try other people's pallets and, get your feet wet and get an understanding of what you're actually doing. I think that's I mean, this is kind of going off on a tangent, but I think that's something that Whatnot's done a bad job with is just setting the expectation for liquidation. Doesn't work like what a lot of these people, the newer sellers, think that it does. You don't get to go touch and see and feel and dissect something before you buy it. A lot of the times, like Sam's Club would tell us, like, "Hey, we have 13 pallets. We're charging your credit card today. You could pick it up tomorrow." And by the time like they charge your credit card, you'd get the manifest. Like the manifest, I mean, we all know manifests typically aren't correct anyway. So, uh, you know, I don't like buying manifested. I think manifest is a pain in the rear end to deal with. But at the end of the day, I guess to circle back to what the point of the question was, is like start small. Start with a pallet here, a pallet there, get an understanding of truly what liquidation is. It's not wholesale, it's not buying new tags, you're not buying a little box. Like you're buying untouched stuff that you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you
Go ahead, Dari.
I'm just curious, like, so when you say like don't do manifested, do you think like buying like raw is usually like the best?
I feel like in the long run, raw, untouched, uh,
Untouched.
is the best, right? I mean, how many times like we've bought manifested Amazon loads that were 60, 70, $80,000, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna get this DVD player or whatever the golden goose was, and then you get the load and you're like, man, I don't see this. Just like Home Depot. Like Home Depot, you buy a manifested load, their variants, I haven't looked at their contract recently, but their variants on their manifests were like up to like 18%. Like that's a massive number when you go to get a load and you think you're getting a Milwaukee set and you don't get that Milwaukee set that was going to pay for, 3 pallets or 4 pallets and it's not theirs. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Manifest can give you a false sense of security for sure, which we're touching on here. The other thing that they do with Manifest, like Ryan was just touching on, is they're going to charge you a percent of retail based on retails. When you're talking Amazon, anyone can charge anything on Amazon. So if somebody with a private label just decides, oh, my DVD player is $300, you're paying 20% of that $300, even though that DVD player is probably truly only worth $30. But they just decided that was the retail price, and you're paying a percentage of that retail.
Yep.
Literally.
And a lot of the new Amazon guys, they're figuring out that right before they liquidate their stuff or they close their Amazon shop down, they raise their MSRPs, which is inflating the manifest.
100%.
Yeah.
We saw that with Zappos, dude. Like, remember when we were buying Zappos last year? It was $9 a unit. And then out of nowhere, boom, they started watching Whatnot. They started looking more at eBay. And now we're getting charged $13, $14, $15 a unit. And they're creaming it before it even gets to us. If you remember, Dusty and Ryan too, like, when we, towards the first couple Zappos loads, we're like, oh my gosh, Hoka this, OnCloud this, like this, that.
Those were the days.
And dude, and before, and literally at the end of it, then we would have nothing. It would literally be like one shoe with like a hole in it. Same thing with Nordstrom's. I had that one Nordstrom truckload this year. So good. The next one's Dookie. You know, it's very, very interesting. And it makes me think about the whole entire Raw thing. Because like this recent deal I bought was 100% manifested. But you know what? It doesn't match the manifest. But there's nothing I can do about it. You know, like I wired the money. It arrived here. It was out of a bankruptcy, but it doesn't match the manifest. So you know, what you're saying about like Raw, you know, it really makes sense. I agree.
And you're generally just paying a per pallet price on Raw, and you have the upside of finding that golden goose in there too. So it's nice. Everyone associates Raw pallets with risk, but you got risk either way. Like these guys are saying, it doesn't really matter. They could tell you they're going to ship you this thing and they're just not going to do it. Or, you know, they combed it, or they manipulated the market by raising their prices right before they did it. So it's not always what it seems.
Yeah. I'm always terrified of manifested loads. Plus I've got the attention span of a peanut. So to sort through 20,000, 30,000 units, how I do it is completely different than how I'm sure either one of you guys do it. And it's just, I don't have the time for that, to chase down a manifest. And then what am I going to do? Actually go sift through 30,000 units of clothing when it gets here to actually find that one piece? Like,
yeah,
it's probably going to get sold on one of our shows before any of us ever find out. And that's what's going to happen.
Liquidators aren't dumb. The companies that are liquidating these things are not dumb either. They, like Ari said, they watch, they know, they've learned, they're adapting too. We got to be one step ahead if we're going to be any smarter than what they're doing, because they're going to find a way to manipulate it. And they know, like Ryan said, same with us. We run such a volume. I can't go through and count every single unit that comes through. I can't do that. It's not physically possible. I just have to trust that they're good people. A lot of times that isn't the case. So you got to build
especially
that
in this
your
industry
strategy.
I mean, we've all been burnt in 2025. I know we've all been screwed by the usual
Yikes.
characters on loads. Like I got screwed on AG. Ryan, did you buy the AG? Yeah, I'm still sitting on that AG.
Good call.
Literally, thank God you didn't buy that. I paid $110,000 for, I think it was 10,000 units of AG, and it was the most poo-poo, like misrepresented lot I've ever seen. But it's still like, they're amazing denim. It's just not what I was told. So instead of me being excited about selling AG new with the tags, it's actually new without the tag. And the measurements, you have to measure every single pair, because a size 26 doesn't actually measure to a size 26. It measures to a size 28, you know? But I have a question, Dusty. I don't know if you have any other questions, but I have an interesting question for Ryan.
I'm making a list for sure, but you go for it.
Because like I've always wondered this. So like when you said that you started out in like liquidation and, you know, Sam's Club, Target, then going Home Depot, how'd you like decide to like go into like women's contemporary fashion and not just do like true liquidation on Whatnot, like electronics and, you know, general merchandise and things like that? Like when did you decide to like go, you know what, we're going to sell clothing?
I think we were introduced to the clothing by Chris Lynn, right, on his video. So then we still had our discount store running. So a lot of the electronics and that kind of stuff, it was easy for us to sell through there. Then there was a point where we started thinning out. We were only keeping our discount store open a few days a week. And then we started pulling the electronics from like Sam's Club and then pulling the Hokas from Sam's Club and running them through Whatnot. And I think like we got like massive traction when we were doing it that way. But clothing just seemed like it was so much easier to sell. And once you could figure out like the velocity game and how to turn it, that was I think that was like a kind of like the golden goose for us, to figure out like, okay, we could sell 300, 500 units a show. Now how do we ship that fast? And then, I mean, I still go back and forth trying to play with the idea of like selling general merchandise on the platform, but we are set up to sell clothing and like big bundles, and that's about it. Like, I think having a different numbering system or cubby system or however it is to sell general merchandise or electronics, I think it just adds a whole nother caveat to the program that we're just not, unless we slow down on one to add that to our arsenal. I just don't, I mean, we have 20 pallets of home goods right now that I'm trying to figure out how do we sell this? Like, I'm going to get impatient, probably just put them in a box and sell them off by the box, but that's not the smartest way to go.
Yeah, because like and one other thing that I'm just like spinning on my mind is because I've been watching you guys for literally the past 2 years. It's like merchandising and stuff. Like the way you guys merchandise all your shows is so organized. How many people do you have, and like what type of like advice would you give to somebody that's starting out in fashion, or even somebody right now that has a warehouse with a bunch of clothing? Because the way you set up your shows is so important. Like your shows have always just been merchandised so well on a rack. Like in your videos, it shows like this is for show number 22 on Thursday with this host. Like I've honestly tried to copy it and I still can't even figure it out.
I appreciate that. It's we have one main girl that does all of the curating, and then we typically will have like three or four girls just hanging clothing or sorting the clothing by size or style or whatever that is, and then or by brand. And then once we have the racks are completed, they hang like the placards on them. I think it's overkill, but I also think it's the reason why behind the scenes for us, we're able to stream. We at one point we were streaming 70, I think our peak was 72 hours in a 24-hour day with sub 1 day ship time. And I think it was all to do with preparation. My dad retired 2 3 years ago now from warehousing and logistics. He's all about processes and keeping things organized, and the flows that he's helped us create behind the scenes is it's invaluable. I mean, there's nobody that could put a price on what he showed us behind the scenes. I mean, a lot of it is, a lot of our success is thanks to my dad with everything that he's shown us behind the scenes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is incredible. So take me back to the bin store days. Is that a fad that you think is dead now? Is there still we have lots of different listeners. Some people sell on Posh, some people do eBay, some have bin stores. So it's nice to hit on all the different areas. So I'm curious, was this just a COVID fad where you think everybody was just kind of jumping on that bandwagon, they saturated, it's done, or is there still some money to be made in bin stores?
When we started it, it was, the trend hadn't hit the West Coast. So, actually, the guy that I bought my very first general merchandise pallet from, him and I talked about creating a bin store for a while. And then we kind of formulated it between my business partner and I, and then him. And he ended up jumping ship and doing it first. And then we did it shortly after. I think that you can't I mean, I don't, maybe somebody out there could tell me I'm wrong, but there is no way financially that you could run 100% bins anymore. There's zero way.
Really?
I don't see it. Unless you're from some little teeny town in West Virginia that has a population of 200, maybe you could pull it off. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, we started doing it with like a retail section mixed with bins is going to be your way to do it, and then combine that with some sort of e-commerce. I mean, we were running, I think we had one person generating about, when we had our discount store running with a little bit of Whatnot, and we had Poshmark Macari running all at the same time. Our Posh and Macari were generating like 40 to $60,000 a month in revenue,
Wow.
and that was one girl simply pulling random things from Sam's Club, and that was it. But I mean, back to the trend of eBay or of the bin store, like I don't see financially how it's not a dump and go situation anymore. People have gotten savvy, or the customers have gotten savvy to just being able to take a Gaylord, dump it into a bin, and walk away. Like it doesn't happen anymore.
Why, Dusty? Are you
What
gonna
about
start a bin store up in
No,
Minnesota?
I just want to hit on all the different things. Ryan has so much experience in
I
so
know.
many different facets that I'm just curious, because I know we have a lot of different listeners, and maybe there is somebody out there right now that's feeling that pressure of like, man, I've had a bin store for 5 years, and all of a sudden my revenue isn't making sense. What do I do? Where do I go from here? Do you have
It
a
was
brick and mortar?
not anymore.
Okay, so that was
It
part of it at
was
the time.
Yeah, it was scary to pull the plug on the bin store, then transition to a discount store where stuff wasn't as cheaply priced or more economically priced. Because I mean, we would have 300 or 400 people lined up outside. Like we have TikTok videos all over that people were lined up. Like there was days the police department would show up. They're like, "What the hell's going on?" We got evicted from our first building because we had so many people. They absolutely hated us. And then when we went to our last warehouse, even there, I mean, we would have 150 to 200 people lined up when we were getting full semi trucks. I mean, I'll be honest, we were getting full semi trucks at Target for under 6 grand. Like we were getting 24 pallets at a time at Target case packs. If I could go back to that right now, like my business partner and I, Jose, we go back to it any day. The prices are, our last Target contract went up by 80 something percent. There's no money to be made on it that way. Yeah, those are the definitely like the wild west good old days of just quick merchandising. We'd have 100 200 people line up in our discount store. They'd come in, the resellers would clean us out. We were selling through, at the peak of that, we were going through 3 Target semi trucks a day being opened. You guys ready for this? We
Yeah.
were only open 2 hours at a time. We would be open from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon. We would close up, re-merchandise everything, and then open up again at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night. Close up. We would get to the warehouse the following morning by like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, re-merchandise and do it again. We were doing that 7 days a week.
That's crazy.
That is wild. So no storefront. Have you gone away from pallet selling, or is that still part of your business?
We're starting to get back into it locally. I just don't like having people here coming around, touching, feeling, see, like it's just it's not I mean, it's not conducive to normal business, right? Now you got to pay an employee to stand around and wait. Is this person going to show up? To me, I'll send you a message. Hey, if you want it, great. If you don't, no skin off my back. If you want it, send the payment, come pick it up, and that's it.
Okay.
I
That's awesome.
I just want to bring up something because like I can relate to what you're saying, Ryan, is because recently I invited somebody. I'm not going to say who it is, but I invited somebody into my warehouse to look at some product. I think I told Dusty about this. So they went and looked at the product. I mean, this was really good product. I'm not going to say the brand. They saw it. They looked through everything. They cut open a bunch of boxes, and then I sent it to them. And then they still had the cojones to complain about it after you came and looked at it and saw it all. Like you don't get that opportunity. When I deal with brands directly, it's like send us the money and that's it. Whenever we deal with any of these, usual suspects, it's like send the money, that's it. I opened up my warehouse twice for this person. And it's like I'm just Ryan, what you just said there to me is what I needed to hear, honestly, because I sometimes think I'm too friendly and too nice and too sweet. But like just no skin off my back. Like if you want it, you want it, and that's it. No emotions.
That's exactly why I don't sell pallets. I think in the history of all of our selling, I have sold 5 total pallets. And every single one of those pallets, that person has come to my warehouse, cut it open, looked through the stuff, which is not a norm in this world, let them do all their thing. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, well, I want some money back because it wasn't great or whatever. It's not my problem if you don't know how to sell it. You knew exactly what you were buying. You came in, you touched it, you felt it, you looked at it. That's your problem. And it's
Dude,
just like, it bothers me so much because the expectations of, I expected to have a whole pallet of Lululemon in there and it wasn't, or whatever. It's just like, it's so far fetched what some people think that they're supposed to get when they're buying pallets. I just cannot even imagine being a reseller in that
you can't,
space.
dude, like
It would
literally
be so frustrating.
Like, I'm just gonna say this one last thing. I did another, like, when we had our like Shopify store up, I sold a pallet, and like, we were selling pallets, and you could buy with credit card. So I made this banging Nordstrom shoe pallet for this woman that is a seller on Whatnot. She did a chargeback, and then refused to return the goods. Like, it's
People are
just
amazing.
people are so amazing.
I mean, people don't realize, with our Target contract, you can't turn loads down. You could turn, one or two occasionally. They email you. They're like, hey, here's your 7, 8, 15 deliveries for the week. And Jose and I, we almost went bankrupt on this one day. We received 4 truckloads of Christmas pillows in January, and we had to pay full price for those pallets. Like, this brutal, And again, I mean, I say this with all due respect or whatnot, but I think them opening up the category of selling pallets, I told them from the
Thank
very get
you.
go, you set
Thank
the
you.
expectation incorrectly. The liquidation world does not work this way. And I fought it. And then they started changing the rules about, oh, now you can do a live manifest, or you could just show. It doesn't matter. Like, that's why I don't sell them on here anymore. I'm not worth it. I started selling pallets just recently and shipping them out, or shipping out big bundles off the platform. And the only form of payment I'm taking is Zelle. We're not taking credit cards. You can't reverse Zelle. Because we did I don't know, I think I shipped out like a $6,000 or $7,000 Misa dress pallet off platform like 8 months ago or a year ago. Person did the same thing. Charge back, never sent the inventory back, but guess who was selling it on Whatnot? That customer.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, like, I could tell you guys the stories going on and on of, like, when I've tried to like help other sellers, and then it's just like they so ungrateful when like we sell something to them. And like, it's not the real world. And honestly, Ryan, I agree with you on that too. The second that they opened up that category, when they made us manifest 20 pallets of Zappos shoes, manifest it line by line by line. It took me and 5 other people crawling in the pallets, scanning every single shoe individually, building out the pallets, building out the prices. And then we did it all. And then next week, it's like open up to the whole entire universe to just sell pallets. It's absolutely crazy. It's nutso.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna make this category exclusive to only like U5.
Yeah.
And then everyone and their mothers was selling on it.
That's amazing. That was on my list to discuss anyways. So the answer is you do not sell pallets on Whatnot right now.
No. I'll sell bundles, and we have I don't know if you guys will let me plug this, but we have whatnotwholesale.com that you guys can go check out online as well. But
is that new?
Go. Check it out.
We've had the domain for a while, but I just started activating it.
Dude, that's sick. Whatnotwholesale.com. Guys, if you're looking for pallets, literally go to whatnotwholesale.com. All you got to do is say, if I'm interested in wholesale, you fill out a form, not like filling out a form for a giveaway, but this is how you can get some real inventory, guys, from the Notorious Boss. You guys got to check it out.
Okay, so let's talk business structure. How many employees do you have? How many streamers do you have? How long has that scale period been?
We've downsized a lot. We realize, the juice isn't always worth the squeeze. The amount of headaches and the amount of, I know that Ari and I had talked about this a lot, but when we were streaming 70 plus hours a day in a 7-day week, it reaches a point of just, A, the fun goes away, but B, once, I'm sure I'm going to get crucified for this one, but once, people start getting egos, and it just causes a lot of issues. And I think from the behind the scenes staff, we currently have 10 people behind the scenes, plus our streamers. I think we're at like 9 streamers now, 10. And we're just trying to find that like lever where to push and pull to make it, where this is just right. I think we're streaming on average, I would say somewhere around about 30 hours a day, approximately, give or take. We're going to kind of run it with that right now, and just see as the season changes and kind of see where we're at. We've always done more with more people, and we're really leaning back to try to focus on efficiencies and just being more productive and just working smarter, not harder. Again, I'm forever thankful. I know my business partner, Jose, is forever thankful to have my dad in the warehouse, almost 5 days a week, 6 days a week sometimes. He comes in, and as much as him and I butt heads, he has taught us so much behind the scenes. He's taught us, I mean, even from a management perspective, my dad was vice president of operations of multiple million square foot warehouses across the US for one of the largest 3PLs in the US. And there's something to say about that. And it's a lot to learn. So I think with where we're at right now is going to be, let's go on cruise control and really focus at just getting better at what we're doing right now versus growing. There's no sense. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it now, but
That's
I
so
mean,
good to hear, actually, because Ari and I, 2025 was the year for me where it's like, man, I'm gonna ramp this thing up as big as I can get it and just see if that's worth it. It's not always X for X. If I increase this many hours, I'm going to increase my profit by this much. It's more headaches, more issues. We've talked about that a ton. It's so good to hear that from another person because we've gone the same route. We at one point last year, we had 3 channels live 24 hours a day. Now we've scaled that back, and our sweet spot is right around yours. We're live 36 hours a day. We've got a rock solid staff. We all know what we're doing. We know what products are working. It's like you said, cruise control, not always cruise control, but just better trained staff that know what they're doing, more of the same product flows so people understand branding better, sales tactics better. They're not constantly getting it switched. It's easier for our warehouse to bring a truck in and get a truck out. So it's really good to hear because I think a lot of people, Ari included, are kind of going the same route where we scaled up
100%.
really big and now we're trying to fine tune a well-oiled machine that will work well with less people. You can always hire 1 million people to do 1 million things, but it's not always efficient to go that route. So yeah,
Dude,
Ari.
100% is like I scaled back too. Like I had around 40 so this is what happened. So I had like 40 people on my payroll. My fiance was working, managing almost around $500 million in projects in New York City as a civil engineer. And she was going back and forth with her boss, whatever. She didn't want to work there anymore. She's like, you know what? This is not for me. She's like, I want to come and help with your company and like, let's build something together because this is going to be our generation for our family. And the second she came in, we're like pumping the brakes, which is amazing. And we're immediately realizing like, let's scale back. Like, why do we have you sitting here, you doing this? It was so bad that I came into the office one day and I was like wondering where this employee was. They had sat up a desk in the basement with a table and a fan and like a computer, and they were sitting down there watching movies instead of sorting everything. Like, dude, it got even worse than that. Like it was like Animal House. If you've seen that movie Animal House, the way my office in New York City was being treated was Animal House. So I said, we're done. We're shutting this office down. If you guys can't respect it, we're moving everything under one roof into the warehouse. And I'm going to scale back the whole company because like it wasn't working, dude. Like I just like all these people and all these personalities. Like, Ryan, you're so good at what you do is because people come to see the Ryan show. And same thing with your other hosts. It's the reason why people want to watch me sell. It's the reason why people want to watch Laura sell. It's the reason why Whatnot exists is because it is a personality driven app. It's why Katie Co's so good out here flipping. So like, the usual suspects are so good because it's when they're on camera, people want to watch. But go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I know you and I talked about this a lot, but I mean, this isn't to, gloat or toot my horn, but just to show when we grew as big as we were, like we were the first women's contemporary channel to hit $1 million in a
Yes.
month. We did it multiple times. And I will tell you, there is nothing different about our bank account from $1 million month to a 600 or $700,000 month, other than excuse my language, a lot of headaches. I mean, it was a
Preach it.
lot of headaches.
Dude.
And at Cool, we got interviewed by Fortune magazine, and we did $1 million a month for multiple months. Like I told Whatnot, I was like, never again. I
Ari
don't
and I
want to
have
do it
talked
anymore.
about this a ton. What you see isn't always what's actually happening. You can see somebody sell a ton of dollars worth of stuff, and it's amazing, and there's a ton of people in there. They might not actually be making money. You might just be watching a show. It doesn't always make sense. And if they don't know how to manage their business, if you don't know how to manage your business well, your finances well, the way everything flows in and out, it's just all that profit, anything that you make might just trickle right away from you. And we've seen
Yeah.
that. We've talked about that at depth in our own business. 2 years ago, I had a commission structure that absolutely just
Oh
tore
my
away
gosh, you got to
everything
tell
that
them
I
about
made.
it. Tell them about it. Tell them about it.
Yeah, I had built a commission structure on top of actually having a wage, and I think it was 25% of profit
It was
that we were
more.
giving our employees. Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what it
No,
was,
it was more like close to like 35% that you were giving.
but we were selling Target clothes at that time, and so the thresholds were smaller. It didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. Well, then Zappos came in, and we were selling Zappos, and my employees were making like $6,000 a week selling Zappos just on commission checks. And so we made all this money, but we got to the end of the year, it was like my overhead just took all that away. We ended up the whole year, we had worked our ass off and we broke even. It was like, what are we doing? We're managing all these people. We went through all this. It was a nightmare. So then we started 2025 just way behind the ball. We didn't have the capital we needed to get the things that we wanted to get. We had way too many employees on our payroll, and it was just a nightmare. So we had to redo the whole thing. We went to a straight pay structure, higher wages for everybody, but set performance standards for everybody. So we have very clear metrics on exactly what we need to do every single stream. And we know the volume and the hours that we need to hit that every single day. And it's much less to manage and a lot healthier for everybody involved. It was so catty when we had the commission structure, and I don't know how you pay your streamers, but they wanted the best product. And if they didn't get the best product, they threw a fit on the screen. You could tell their attitude was awful. They would cherry pick pallets and then dump off the other one on the new person. And it was just so unhealthy. The atmosphere was so unhealthy. So having everybody know exactly what they make every single day, and it's much better this way around. But yeah, you could look like you're making $1 million, and if you don't know how to manage a business, it's not going to help you.
You just gave me
Yeah.
angina with what you said, dude, about the whole streamers like all like wanting to choose their own product. The amount of nights that I was like up just dealing with like kid drama between sellers about like why did this person get this and that person got that, and it's just like it's ridiculous. Like you should be like everybody, like if you're on a whatnot stream that has actual product and viewership in there and you're selling, like it's way better than being a retail worker waiting around in a store for a customer to come in. Like it caused so much split with that stuff and people cherry picking stuff. Like again, I had a warehouse in New Jersey and I had a basement unit in my old office in New York City, and we would find people in the basement before their shows cherry picking out of the pallets, like the cream of the crop.
Speaking of employees, Ryan, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here, and you can divulge whatever you want to divulge. And I'm going to bring this up not for the sense of we want tea and drama and that sort of thing, but to kind of highlight the dynamics of being a business owner. It is not easy. Hiring employees is not easy. And a lot of times to hire employees and enable them to be really good at your job, you have to show them everything. A lot of our employees know exactly what we pay for an item, where we get it from, how to sell it, the metrics we're trying to get. That employee can just as well turn around and say, well, screw you guys. I'm going elsewhere. I'm going to go do this for myself. I'm going to, screw you guys over. There's so much more dynamics to what we're doing because you're putting somebody else's face on your name and trusting them with your whole business and your metrics, and they can turn around and screw you doing that. So I know you've got firsthand experience in that. You can talk about it as much as you want. Don't feel like you have to. But I want to give you a spot to at least chat about that a little bit.
I mean, I think we probably have gained probably the most notoriety for losing streamers, hiring streamers, firing streamers, like because we were as big as we were and we are as small as we are right now by choice. But yeah, I mean, it's 100%, right? I mean, there's people that I'll just use the name right now, like Rochelle XO. I'll give her 100% credit. She's hands down one of the best streamers on the platform. You're never going to take it away from her. I think where a lot of people go wrong is they forget where they came from. They forget, who taught them things. I think it's a big thing, right? There's a lot of egos. There's a lot of, they see a $20,000 or $30,000 show that they just did, and they think that that 20,000 or 30,000 is going in Dusty's pocket or Ari's pocket, right? And at the end of the day, there's fees. Then there's, the people that are curating the shows. There's people that are shipping the shows because everybody wants their stuff fast, right? So how else do you get that support from a seller is, oh, you're going to ship it fast and you're going to get it in 2 days. So what does that do for your seller that or your host that reminds, your customers, oh my God, I was on so-and-so's show and I got my stuff in 2 days. So at the end of the day, it's a team effort, right? There's no room for egos, but I believe that this position nationwide, no matter what platform we're streaming on, whether it's TikTok, it's Instagram, Facebook, whatnot, Palm Street, whatever it is, we're all going to have those egos. We're all going to have those problems where people just don't mesh or they do learn, the tricks of the trade. Again, I mean, I'm very proud to say that I trained a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff, the psychology that goes in behind the scenes of how to sell, what to sell. And I think, my personality speaks for itself, right? Either people love me or they hate me. There's never anybody that's in between. There's a lot of people out there that want to say the negative stuff that they want to say about me. But for the people that know me and me as a person, I think they know the truth, right? They know who I am. They know that I'm not an a-hole. There's people here that aren't here anymore that are streaming on their own, making great money. But when they were in the slums and they needed money and they needed, birthday money for one of their kids because they didn't have any money, who took care of that, right? Like at the end of the day, like this, we're noticing it big time in hiring right now. Jose handles all of our hiring and the interviews. I mean, we're doing 20, 30, 40 interviews in a day.
Jeez.
And I will tell you the amount of live stream hosts that are going from channel to channel or platform to platform, I think it's gonna create a bigger problem sooner than later. And I think that's where buckling down the hatches and really tightening up, how you do things and how you do things internally and you keep it internal is gonna be key, right? I'm not gonna lie, we ask all of our hosts to sign NDAs like while they're in here because Ari, you've learned, Dusty, you've learned, you guys have all learned, right? How things happen and how things work. And I think all that's valuable information, right? In our first year on Whatnot, we lost 300 grand, $300,000 for us to teach people to do things and then they go to do it on their own, but you don't want to give us credit for what we taught you or what you learned from us. I don't need somebody to tell me that I'm the best trainer or I'm the best person or what. It's not that. Just a simple, like I know where I came from and these people taught me, they taught us good. And again, I think that we probably have the most tea or the most gossip or the most Reddit posts or the most Facebook posts simply because we were so big. We continue to hire. I mean, I think at one point we were 20 plus streamers, but I think we got as good as we did because collectively as a group, we all worked together and we were a team. I mean, Jose and I pride ourselves on saying that, we're a family owned business, love us or hate us. We've done some stupid things from a business standpoint and, giving hosts and streamers too much money. And then at the end of the day, we go back and we look and it's like, Dusty, what you just said, right? Like all the money that we thought we made, it's all gone because these guys are making more money. But who, at the end of the day, who's got who's got the pressure of running the business? Who's got the pressure of turning the lights on at the end of the day? And who has the pressure of buying and selling or buying the goods? The people selling, they're going to get paid one way or another, right? Whether they're commission or they're hourly. And being in California, man, the laws out here for employment, they suck. It's 100% in favor of these guys can go do whatever they want, how they want. And then you could see, at the end of the day, these people start promoting themselves on your channel, right? 100,000 followers, 80,000 followers, 50,000 followers. And then, oh, I'm going to go do it on my own. And then you see, one or two people are successful. Again, I'll use Rochelle. Like she's an amazing streamer. I get messages daily. Oh my God, you see how good. Yeah, I don't wish her any ill will, right? She's an amazing streamer. So
Yeah.
Thanks for being so vulnerable there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Seriously.
We really appreciate it, and that's a big portion of why Ari and I started this podcast was, for a couple of things, but this is therapy for us because not everybody gets what we're going through, and there's a whole added aspect to that hiring process because you hire somebody at McDonald's and they're working the fryer. You don't have to worry a ton about their personality or how they're representing your business or that sort of stuff. You take somebody and you put them in front of your following of 200,000 people. That's a big, big deal. And that's your name that you've worked for years. And you're trusting them to represent who you are as a person. And a lot of times, like Ryan's alluded to, the Reddit posts or the threads or the gossip or the tea, it's so easy to look at that person from the outside and just assume things. And we get that all the time. I mean, I cannot tell you, I want to say we have gone through almost 60 employees in our year and a half of being in business. And that is not something like it makes me emotional. Like that is not something I'm proud of. That's not the person that I am. A lot of that was me discovering how to be a business leader, but a lot of it was the mentality that you're talking about of they jumped on a show and they saw us make $5,000 and they assumed that $5,000 was going in my pocket. What they don't realize is that my overhead is $150,000 a month. I just to break even, just to be a business, just to survive, just to pay everybody else that's there. That's a lot of profit that you got to make in 30 days. I mean, that's $5,000 a day I have to make just to survive as a business. And they're not seeing that. They're just seeing that number there. And then we've had quite a few situations, especially recently, where, like you had talked about, somebody jumps on and they promote their own socials. It's in our terms of service. You cannot do this. It's in Whatnot's terms of service. You cannot do this. You cannot go on there and put your own personal PayPal link and be like, hey, my family's struggling. Can you send us some money? My family is very giving. My following is very giving, but we're not here to take advantage of that. We're not here to go against the terms of service. So I just took somebody that everybody loved and that I love personally, and I fired them because I had to. That was a choice I had to make to protect the 30 other people that work for me. But on the outside, it looks like I'm an asshole. And I know I'm not. And those who know me know I'm not. But you get that impression and it hurts. It sucks, especially when you put your blood, sweat, and tears into something that you worked so dang hard for years. And people can make a mockery of that just because of the perception that they get. So I really appreciate you being real and honest with us. I don't know you from, the next person outside of who I see on the screen and what I hear. And so it's really nice to have people on here and just be able to hear their heart and their story behind that. Because we're a family run business and we align with a lot of stuff more so than I thought that we did. So thank you for being real and honest about that.
I think one other thing, is for me, like probably one of the most frustrating or the most catty things that I shouldn't even let it bother me, but it still bothers me. And I guess it just shows that I truly do care and I'm not the jerk that people think I am on camera or whatever. But it's like when you're off on your own and you go do your own thing, or, there's other channels on the platforms or on social media or whatever, like if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it at all. Like, at the end of the day, the community on Whatnot has, I mean, again, I don't know you very well, Dusty, but Ari and I have talked a lot over the last 2 years. And this platform, the community that it is, like, that you have, like, within of the platform itself and like your followers, like, it's like ride or die, right? Like, there's people that, they might not have money, but they're going to come watch your show. Like, I got messages yesterday. It's like, Ryan, why didn't you go on your show? Like, I just checking on you. Are you okay? Like that's amazing to me. Right. But then when you see the cattiness of other channels that want to put down another channel or another host that wants to put down another host, it's like, I'm huge at saying this. Like, there's no competition on this platform, right? We
Amen.
all have our own followings.
Yep.
We can all support each other. Like,
Amen.
I love, I'm massive. I have the utmost respect for ZK Styles. Absolutely adore her. She's one of the most respected people I know in this business. She keeps to herself. She does her own thing, man. I get a text message from ZK and she's like, man, I watch your show. And like, dude, that's freaking awesome, right? Like, we're two totally different categories. We don't sell the same stuff anymore. But I could go text Ari right now and he does a bundle show. I do a bundle show. We're like, man, we run a bundle show at the same time. How cool is that? Like, my customers got this, my customers got that. I don't have to go talk trash to somebody else, right? But then to hear the cattiness and the drama and the BS of people that still want to talk about something that was 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago, it's like, get on with your lives. Like, just do something better for yourself and your community, right? Like, if your customer base wants to just sit around to listen to gossip, which again, 2 days ago, I got a message about somebody else talking. I'm like, for what? Like, I want to always ask my saying is like, how do I taste? Because my name continues to come out of your mouth. Like, why? Do you want to be like me or do you want to learn from me? Can I learn from you? Like, Ari, maybe you and I have had differences in the past, but I could guarantee you I could pick up the phone and be like, hey man, like I have a question. Like I have this brand or I have this, like, are you gonna steer me wrong? You're probably not, right?
Hmm.
Dusty, I could call you and be like, hey, have you ever dealt with this vendor? Are you gonna steer me wrong? No, we're all going to support each other, you know, big, small, new, and different. Like I'm massive to say, like I think Whatnot needs to do a better job, and I'm going to digress right now, but Whatnot needs to do a better job at supporting some of the newer sellers, right? Giving better coaching, better ideas, shipping. How many times have we all been asked about shipping? The shipping,
Oh, yeah.
man. What could make this platform better? Teaching people how to ship, I guess. But at the end of the day, I guess I just want to say we're all a community. We're all a family, you know, one way or another, whether we're selling the same uh, Yeti mugs today, we're all three running them, right?
Yeah.
We can all three still sell Yeti mugs and still get Yeti money for them. Let's all help each other and promote each other. And we can all do better for each other if we're all helping each other and working with each other.
Amen. You couldn't
Yeah.
have said that
And
any better. Like, there should be no ding dongs on the platform. Like, leave that catty drama elsewhere. Like, it's in, like, being very raw. All of us sellers, we talk to each other. You know, the real ones that really want to build this into something big on the app, for not just for ourselves, but for our communities, we all talk to each other. We don't have time for the drama, the BS, the bushlacha. Like, go do it somewhere else. You know, like, come into our streams and ask us how we can help you. Don't just like watch from the sidelines and talk shit, because it's like there's no point. Like, the one thing about Whatnot, and like I don't want to hijack this, it's like you can be any size, any shape, any color, any nationality, any religion, and you're gonna have a community.
yeah.
That's what Whatnot is. It is like frowned upon to be a ding dong on Whatnot.
And I'll add personal experience. So you guys know Mike from Med City, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. So Mike actually lives like 20 minutes from us,
Mhm.
and Mike actually reached out to me because Whatnot had reached out to him and asked me to come to our warehouse and study what we did so he could do the same thing. And every part of any normal business owner would be like, not a chance. Like, why would I create a competitor 20 minutes away from me that has great sourcing, great people, and is going to treat people well, has an amazing following? That's just competition. It's going to make it worse for me. And you want to know what happened? He came, we taught him how to do it. He went and did it, and it helped our business because he brought his followers onto the app. And those followers, whenever he's not live, they jump over to our show. Hey, another local business. That's awesome. I'm going to help those guys out. And that same thing holds true for everybody. Nobody is a competition. If somebody new jumps on, they've got a following somewhere in some way, shape, or form, friends, family, social following, whatever, new community. And they're going to bring those people onto Whatnot. When they're not live, because nobody can be live all the time, every day, every single day, they're going to find news channels. They're going to find you. That's a community. We need to support each other in that. And like both of you guys said, there's no competition. There doesn't need to be. There doesn't need to be any animosity towards each other. 20 minutes difference, same business model, same mindset. We're both doing great.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be that way. We can
I
all
think
support each other.
exactly. And I think, you know, a lot of us, we could all agree, like the peak of our success for us was, I mean, hours upon hours of just watching people's shows, understanding why people do things. Like, how do they do this? Why are they doing this? Like, there's reasons, right? And I mean, I, I've learned so much from watching so many different sellers and trying to understand like the psychological reasons as to why they do things or how they do things. And I think a lot of the newer people on the platform don't want to put in work. You know, I'm talking to somebody right now. We're working on doing some stuff behind the scenes of, you know, trying to help people and help people get or to do better. And I think one of the things that a lot of the newer people miss is just like simple going into shows and watching shows and letting people know. Like I know Ari's big with this. Is like, hey, just come in and say hi. Like I'm going to talk about you, or I'll say something about you, or I'll recognize your name. Like it's huge to do on the platform, and all it does is continues to grow the platform and grow the community.
Yeah, Ari is the absolute legend at that. You are one of the greatest encouragers that I have met, and you do an amazing job of supporting the community, newer sellers, big events, just jumping on in, giving support, whether that be in word or giving a tip or sending a raid over. So, yeah, you do an amazing job of that, Ari.
Thank you. It really helps, honestly. Like, I think it's so cheesy to come into a show and say, hey, can I promote? Just like drop an emoji. Literally, whatever the first emoji that's in your phone, just drop it in there. Don't go, hey, can I promote? Nobody's going to come to your show. They're not going to know who you are. Interact.
Yeah.
It's free. Seriously.
Yeah.
Interact. I have a question for Ryan. So like obviously like you've scaled back a little bit, but you're still running all these different channels. Obviously all of us I think are going to, you know, probably try out the palm trees. But my question is like what do you want to do in 2026, dude?
We're working on some stuff behind the scenes with I guess we're gonna try to do some stuff with eBay.
Wow.
Um
That's awesome.
Stuff that, none of us are good at inside here, but we kind of have some ideas and some thoughts and building some stuff that is, I think, in our area of where we are in California, it'd be a massive opportunity. So we're working on that. Hopefully in the next, I'd say 60 days, that'll be launched. And, um, like I said, the whatnotwholesale.com, I'm going to launch some big stuff on there here shortly as well.
Cool.
Dude,
Do you
that's
sell
sick.
on eBay Live or anywhere else other than Whatnot?
We're working on it. We're supposed to be doing the palm tree. Is that what you call it, Ari?
Palm
We're supposed to be doing that. I was
palm
supposed to
trees.
I made the commitment of streaming
Raj.
by the end of this week, and I haven't done it yet. So,
Man, I've been
um,
so bad at getting
Oh,
back to
you
Raj
guys are
about
so
that.
bad. He's a busy man.
We're gonna have Raj on here at some point. He's already told us he would jump on, so
Yep.
I'm intrigued to hear about that. But yeah,
We'll actually do it on Palm Street. They built it where we can do Palm Street. I also had the craziest idea, and I'm just gonna say it. Like, if Whatnot's listening, Palm Street's listening, or any of these live apps are listening, do you guys remember Live Trivia? Like that app that everybody would go on every week, and like they would all play trivia around the country and like try and get like that prize. Do you know what I'm talking? There was like this guy, he was like famous for like a year. He was like the trivia man, and every Thursday night trivia would pop up, and everyone I knew would be on their phones at the same time playing trivia for like a massive prize. If Whatnot, dude, look it up. That's what Whatnot, Palm Street, or any of these apps need to do to get people to their app is get the trivia man back and bring trivia to either Whatnot or Palm Street and tell everybody that they're going to do trivia for massive prizes. And then you'll have everybody will join. That app would have like thousands and thousands, millions of people competing every other night for like a grand prize.
Would be interesting.
But yeah, guys, good luck on Palm Street. Good luck.
Yeah, I want to get a rep from each of like the main live selling platforms to come on here and just chat live with them. It's very interesting because obviously in our perspective, market perspective, Whatnot is eons ahead of most, if not all, the streaming platforms. And it's funny because eBay has actually been betaing for like 6 years now, a long time. So it's like different ways of looking at it. Palm Street's really got that social aspect built in of being able to like post things on there and comment on people's posts. And the feel of it is more of like that TikTok feel. So it's really cool, but I think we're going to start to see more market competition where these people are going to start to have to fight for sellers a little bit more, lowering fees or that sort of stuff, because they're going to start to get more pressure. Well, if Whatnot's at 13%, if Palm Street's at 6%, most people are going to kind of flood to that as long as the demographic is there for buying. If they can scale it to a big enough portion, because we know live sales is like this big right now, and it's going to be this big. And when it gets to be this big and that buyer base is spread across more apps, it's going to create more competition, which will be really interesting. But yeah, we'll do some interviews of those.
I have one last thing, Ryan, since like, a lot of people watch your shows, like what would be like one piece of advice that you would give somebody starting out? Because I always ask this question, that is starting out in live sales, already has a business, already has a warehouse, already has whatever you may be. What is the one thing that you would say to them that could probably help them right now?
Be yourself, be authentic.
That's it.
/ consistent.
Mm-hmm. Consistency, I think, is one of the biggest pieces people miss. It's like, man, I did a live stream and then I waited an entire week until my next one and it was awful. Like you waited a whole week to do another live.
My business partner always asks people in an interview is like, when you go into a Whatnot stream, like that you stayed in for longer than a couple seconds or you stayed in there for a minute, what made you stay in there? And like, most people don't realize it, like what keeps people in those shows. It's not the next Yeti cup that's coming up or whatever. It's the personality, right? And again, like
100%.
there's a lot of solid streamers out there that understand that it's an entertainment value. Like, why do people want to watch Ryan play loud music and do stupid stuff? Like, it's entertainment. Like, it's 100% entertainment. And that's at the end of the day, like, if people could just ask themselves why they watch a show and they stay in a show, it would make them an even more successful seller.
110%. We ask that we talk about that every interview too. The one thing I can't teach is personality. And that is the number one thing that we need in this job. You either got it or you don't. I can teach you how to sell, upsell, learn brands, all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't matter if you look at your social media, how many videos do you swipe through? And then all of a sudden, boom, you stop and stay on one. It's because that entertainment factor is there. It grabbed your attention. You could have the
Yep.
best inventory and have no personality and you're not going to do well.
Be the hero.
Yep.
Be the hero. Be the hero. Be the hero.
Okay, we better button this up. Ryan, let's hear any closing thoughts that you got.
I mean, just anybody ever has questions or anything, and you see me on the platform, I'm all about trying to help everybody and grow the community. And if anybody wants to support, by all means, come check us out, whatnotwholesale.com as well. And I think we can all I think that my key at the end of the day is just like everybody help each other get better. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all grow together. If you want to meet Ryan in person, Magic in Las Vegas, ASD in Las Vegas, come check it out. Come meet him. Thank you guys, as always, for following along on our crazy train. It was awesome to have Ryan on today. We appreciate him. Member Circle City on Whatnot, 4 different channels. Check them out. If you guys haven't already, give this video a like, give us a follow. Again, we've got that exclusive Discord. So if you want to grab a membership, jump on in. Ari and I are in there 24/7. We can answer all your questions about sourcing, about how to set up your show, about big wins. We can celebrate with you. And we can also help you with any questions that you have about Whatnot and how it's set up. So make sure you check that out. Check out our other videos, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks.